Okay, hey, open tackles. So I want to go over the skills that you're going to need to be successful this year. And I've got it down to five things. It's five things, but they're really just one thing. You need to be great blockers, but you need to be great blockers without holding. You must never, ever, ever hold. That's why we go to the extent of teaching this ice pick technique, so that we ensure we never hurt ourselves when we're trying to run an offensive play. However, let me go through the five blocks that I'm going to ask you to be able to do. First block you need to be able to do is called the stovepipe block. Stovepipe is when, and this is you, open tackle, we are trying to run rocket wide to your side. And what you're going to be asked to do is you're going to be asked to run flat and fast around this defensive end. Try to get around him like he's a big pylon. Now, if you can't get around him, if he gets contact with you, just stay on him. Stay on him and try to occupy him. But we want you to try to get around him and turn up into the imaginary stovepipe so that you can block a linebacker who's coming your way. Take a look at the film I have showing this. Okay, so take a look on this play of this team's going to be running rocket, and they're going to run it in this direction. Watch the tackle take off flat and turn up. Watch the guard take off flat and turn up as well. Also, look at what happens if anybody crosses their face. They just make contact and they stay with them, pushing them to the sideline. Watch these two guys. See the contact with the guard? Watch it again. Just stays with him and lets the back run wide. Take a look at it again. This time the tackle is getting contact with the end. See him right here? He's just going to make contact and stay wide. Watch the tackle. Not a great block, but it doesn't need to be a great block on him. Okay, watch it over to the right this time. Staying engaged, and just watch the guard stay engaged and wall the man off. And coming towards us this time with the tight end. Pull to pipe, look inside. Watch this again. That's block number one. Block number two, we need you to be able to perform what's called a down block. Let's take a look at that. You would typically be doing a down block when we're running our crisscross play. So your rules in the crisscross play are down, double, linebacker. If you get somebody who is lined up in your gap, then you have to down block them. And you do that by taking a step with your inside foot, which in this case would be your right foot, only 6 inches. Get your head across the front of the body of this man and drive him down. Now, as long as we're talking about this play, if this man was not in the gap, but rather if he was over the open guard would call Mayo, and the two of you would down block him. If there was nobody in your gap or over the open guard, say the guy lined up here, then you would be going straight to the linebacker. Under no circumstances do you block this guy. But we're getting down a rabbit hole of a play now. I need you to be able to down block. Third thing I need you to be able to do is I need you to be able to replace and turn. Here's what this means. If we're running 6GO, which means block, block, kick out, blocks back, runs the circle, your assignment will be to replace and turn, which means you replace the guard's feet and then you turn back. So you block anybody who's coming through here, and if nobody comes through here, you block anybody who goes coming around the outside. You also have to be able to pass block. Now the good news is, as the open tackle, your pass block is going to be the same every time. You're always going to have the outside gap, which means when we call red or blue protection, you step out here. And we're going to send the tailback up to help you as well. But you are going to have to pass block. And then finally, our last thing. And this is the favorite of all of our offensive linemen. I'm shooing flies away. You have to be able to wedge block. And that means we're going to run a play called Toronto for wedge. And Toronto is going to stand for tackle over right. And that tackle is going to be you. So we'll have the center, strong guard, strong tackle, open tackle, tight end, wing, open guard, and some pencil neck geek. I don't know who that's going to be yet. But you will be here. And as the strong tackle blocks his man, the strong guard is also going to block that man, and so are you. So we'll get a 3-man blocking surface on one person. This kid should not want to play football at the end of this game. But the tight end is going to block down on you. That wing is going to block down the tight end. The center is going to block on the guard. The guard is going to block on the center. And the pencil neck geek is going to block on that guard. So there's no gaps in that wedge. Okay, so my open tackles. You have to be able to block. And there's 5 blocks I need you to be able to do. Stovepipe, down block, replace and turn, pass block, and wedge. Knock out those things, and we're just going to be fine.